you ready?
I'm ready.
Yeah, great. Brilliant.
Knut is always ready. I think.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yes.
that's true.
Let me start with introducing you guys. Now we are moving to into Copilot agents, how to make them go live. I think with two of our very old community leaders, Kai and as well as Nat, both have been MVP for quite some time. Uh, so let's give both of them a warm welcome on a weekend. Thanks for helping us out, Kai and Nat, for helping us out on the event. Uh, Good to have you on boarded. And over to you guys. Platform is all yours.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. It's very nice to be here. It's my first time. I think Knut has been here a couple of times before. This session today is about Copilot agents and how to make them go live and what we need to do, what we don't need to do. So it's kind of a practical thing. And let's jump straight into it. This is the agenda for today. Knut and I am going to tell something about this. Then we are going to talk a little bit of, or quite a huge bit, of the environments, why and how we're going to build different environments and why we are doing it. From dev to test to prod. And we're going to talk a little bit about the difference to do environment settings and different environments based on whether you go for SMB or you go for the enterprise market. The SMB takes thinking about environments in Norway and Europe, for example. So it's not so large companies that are in these SMBs. Then we're going to talk about governance in general. Knut going to run a demo for this also. And then at the end, we will have opening for some Q&A. So, Knut, fire.
Yes, hello everyone, and nice to be back. Knut is my name. I have the funny name that makes it very difficult to pronounce in English. So I'm very happy for the Netflix TV series, The Vikings, because at least there was King Knut. So then a lot of more people managed to pronounce it afterwards. But happy to be back. Happy to bring my good friend Kai with me. And today I feel I'm the back row speaker for once. I'm not used to that. So this is Kai's show. I'm just his co-pilot today. But feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn and all that, because this is a very important topic as well that we are going to cover basically, because like right now, a lot of us is creating agents. A lot of us are probably creating them without any plan on how to go live. Microsoft just earlier this week had like their agent-a-thon all across the world basically, and both me and Kai was there as well and moderating and supporting Microsoft on that event. I was doing actually 2 sessions. So I had one that was the Copilot Studio for the European members, and then I had for the North American one, I had the Agent Builder or the level 1 basically, and it was combined around 8,000 people trying to go and run on an agent-a-thon, basically, which tells us that there are so many people right now that is running around and building agents. So that's why I think this session will hopefully share some insights into how you should plan and what you should do and so on. So, but happy to be here and look forward to spend the next hour together with all of you.
Yeah, and that's sorry to cut you short. I think your you need to fix your camera. You are just half. You have one eye. Not you can only Thanks a lot. Now we can see.
You saw the better eye at least, so. So then I'll need to be attentive to where I'm sitting, because on it's a wide screen, so I can see all of me, but thank you for that. So thank you. And Kai, let's go.
Yeah, my name is Kai. I live outside of Oslo in Norway, and I have worked as a consultant for 40 years, but I managed to do that in approximately 25 years' time. It's all possible as long as you work lots of overtime and give a crap about your family. Then I also is a Microsoft MVP as Knut. Haven't been that so long as Knut has been. I have worked for Capgemini, which is a company, global one, with 380,000 people. I think we have approximately 60,000 in India. We are hiring people, so look it up if you are planning to switch something. I work as a Copilot studio developer, which means I'm sitting at one of the largest banks in Norway and building agent in Copilot Studio. And we're going to talk a little bit about that if you wonder which client it is. It's no secret that the largest bank in Norway is DNB. And I also work as a Copilot SME and are helping sales and so on, and to write proposals and that kind of stuff. I also run some blogs, one in Norwegian and one in, of course, one in English, and also have a podcast, which is mainly Norwegian, but sometimes I get crazy and invite international guests, and we run it in English as well. So check out Teams Castaway if you are interested. And if you want to join the show, please send me a note and we will find a date and a time. Before we go further, someone told me that there isn't a presentation without a quote. So quote of today is, if this goes wrong, well, we just call it innovation. I'm pretty sure that some of you have run demos and things doesn't work and so on. So from now on, you just can call it innovation, and then everyone will be happy. Yeah, let's jump straight into it. One developer environment or multiple. This doesn't matter so much whether you are sizing your company. But if we start to look into it, in general, you kind of often, maybe if you have lots of developers, you probably would like them to have their separate personal dev environments. I have, for example, at my client, Kai developer. That is my environment for starting building agents. This environment quite often has limitations for example, if I build an agent and I want someone to test it, I can't share it with hundreds of people. I can share it with up to 5 people. Otherwise, I have to export it and move it, and which Knut's going to show a little bit later on. And this is super good to have when you are running testing, validating, checking that the agent is actually working. And this environment is, of course, unmanaged. All environments are, as you probably know, created in Power Platform, and from there you also add the people to it. And when you share an agent, you can share it directly from the Copilot Studio, and you can publish it in a test site. You can publish it on Teams and M365, and you can also publish it in SharePoint and lots of other places as well. Then, when you think you have created your agent and you think you are ready, quite often you move it to, for example, if there is a large company, you probably will like to move it to a department or a business unit's developer sites. One thing there is that you need to have certain rights, and this is also an unmanaged environment because you want to do changes and so on. And when testing and that things are done, and it's now ready to export to the production and go out there, well, then you can do that, and Be aware that in the production environment, you need to have it managed, because you don't want to use the production environments to do changes. Knut's going to actually show us a little bit about that later on, to see what you can and what you can't change for an agent, for example, that has gone into managed. So that we are really looking forward to. But there is one huge thing that needs to be taken care of, and this is agent sizing. A good way to do it, and what I see quite often out there, is sizing the agent to, for example, small, medium, large, and extra large. This is a good way to do it, both for the SMB and small clients, and also for the enterprise clients, because sizing of the agent tells you a little bit about what the agent can do and what it can't, and what it can integrate with, and so on, so that you have a complete understanding of the sizes of these one. We're going to get back to that a little later. For example, I mentioned the dev environments. In all environments, you must have at least 1 to 2 people, can be more, that is the responsible ones for the environments. This means that if someone has an business units or department or an agent maker environments for building agent and test them, then you must have someone in that environment to be the manager of this one. If a person who is a manager quit his job or quit her job, well, then you need to find someone else before that person leave, if there are only one owner of the environments. So this is very, very important. So remember that one. Also in production, productions are quite managed environments. What you can do, and what is a great way to do it, is that when you have your production environments and you want to share some agents, and you want to give that agent to a certain group of people, you can, for example, create a security group and add that security groups to that agent, so that you have some kind of dynamic access to the agent that you are publishing. So normally in an environment, if you open, for example, an agent you have built, and you can see that, for example, default security group can be all employees, for example. If you are an organization of 100,000 people, well, it can be quite messy. So please use these security groups to give access to the agents, and also build some routines for who is going to do the support, and also update the agents. Update the agent is normally and best done from after you have tested it and you have the new features. Use the solution to import the agent into the enterprise or the production environment. It's going to show that as well. Then for the enterprise environment, as I mentioned, the same here with the sizing of the agents: small, medium, large, and extra large. The same limitations are, for example, in the personal dev environment. You can have 4 or 5 people at the maximum tested. That is a security setting or settings in your environment. And there you do all testing for it. You can test it in Teams, you can publish it, so these 4 or 5 people can test it, and that's very good. And of course, in dev environment for example, group of business units or security group users or departments. You can adjust the agent there before you make it go live. You connect your service account or your accounts for the resources that the agents are going to use. And of course, all the develop stuff will be done there because you want people to test the new functionality and so on. So, and keep also a good naming standard for the agent as well. And of course, in the productions mentioned, you must have someone that are responsible for that agent and so on. So let's jump into the boring stuff, governance, which can be quite boring, but at least it's very important. It's very important to have some policies and how are you actually going to use and how are you actually going to size the agents. For example, if you have a medium agent, an M agent, for example, that can be an agent that are processing and sending email based on email, for example, forms and so on. And it can also retrieve a list from SharePoint, or it can also add things in and out there. For example, if you have an agent created and you have this newsletter that you're sending out to clients, you don't want to put those email address in the to field. You have to put it in the BCC, for example, for privacy, so that you don't give out contact information to certain people and people that are handling that. And of course, you can use straight flows, or you can, for example, have an agent that handles everything. I see quite often, for example, if you, for example, have a form, you fill out the form, you can fill out your name, your email address, your phone number, and you have this question also, and you fill out this form, for example, a contact us form. Then quite often I have seen here, at least in the Nordics, that you fill it out and you don't hear anything. That can be several reasons for it, because it can end up in a mailbox that's no one knows exists. That person that was the responsible for it might have left the company, and no one has thoughts about what they're actually going to do and so on. And then you can create this automated task that actually can answer the questions that are in this form and send an email out, and it can also put information back into the CRM system. That's quite typical, a medium to large agent, and so on. So let's jump into this overview side. Small agents are quite often chat agents, which means you can have it connected to Teams. You can ask it about HR questions and so on. Mediums agents are a little bit more advanced. They can do autonomous full or semi, and you can also get it to do workflows and analyze documents and further on. Then you have the large agents, which are handling quite complex things. They might be connected to other agent, either by a full-size agent or a child agent. The difference here is that a child agent only do small stuff, but complete agents can integrate with the API and that kind of stuff. Then, of course, you have the extra large agents, which is the agent that take care of critical business processes. They are integrated with APIs, with MCP servers, child agents, fully agents, and so on. and do all these kind of different elements and tasks. So these sizing are also quite good to have with you if you are in a small company or a king size large company and so on. And a little bit about more about it. Actually, we can jump straight for that. And you need to scale your governance. 85% of the develop of these agents are business led and have citizen develop in prod. As I mentioned, agents are like houses. A little house, medium house, large factory, and an extra large office building, for example. It's kind of a way to do it. And you see that the scalable governance foundation actually is getting higher the more advanced agents that you have, for example. Then scalable governance also go into the organization success. You need to have all these policies regarding, for example, in Power Platform. You need to have governance and control. You need to have solution and infrastructure. You need to have people enablement, onboarding of makers, communities, training, access, and so on. One thing that I've seen quite often in the extra large and large companies, what they are actually doing is that when they are planning to start using, for example, Copilot Studio and Copilot Studio Lite, the agent builder, what they often do is that they invite these people that are interested or people that understand, for example, Power Platform and how to think in that area as well. And then they run a full day with presentation of what Copilot Studio actually is, how it are integrated, run some demos, and then they give these people 2 to 3 hours, start building agent based on information and labs that you can find, for example, from Agent Academy, so that they can start to build. And for example, in the enterprise market, we want to, or the company wants to start building these agents. A popular thing there is also what shall I call it? They run these brainstorming workshops to see which agents, what business processes can be done, and how can we actually do it. And as you see, we also talk about building cost and enablement and running cost. For these small agents, building cost is not so much, but as you see, the cost gets higher and higher the more advanced the agent is, and also the running cost for these agents as well. And also you need to have the security and scalable core for the platform. You need to have management and support. You need to do monitoring, of course, and further on. You can, for example, use, for example, this type of slide and thinking when it comes to these agents. You see that these small houses and up to a large office block is still the same scales. You have, for example, the makers, which can be from pro to pro coders to low-no coders. In this small, we call it citizen developers, and also for the medium. These two agents are not so advanced, but when we start to go up in the large and extra large, we quite often see that the citizen developers isn't the way to build this agent. They can understand, for example, some APIs and that kind of stuff. But when it comes to the extra large block, IT developers is what we actually need. We need also some governance strategy, data policy strategy, and of course, environment strategy. Depends on the sizing of the agent, from low governance to centralized governance, privacy, security, revision, and that kind of stuff. That also go in for the large factory. So what you need actually to do is to build some routines, documentation, and so on for these different types of agents, and also document your agent so that you can go back to see how was it built, how was it thought about, and also update your documentation. For example, when you are building small houses, you can use the default environment. But when you, for example, move to medium and larger houses, you will definitely go into dev and production. And as you can see here, we have license to build for the governance and controls. And for the large factory, we will definitely go for dev, test, and prod, and also have the same type of environments as well for the extra large block. We are talking connectors. Are you going to use verified connectors? For example, if you have a company, you're building an agent that you, for example, want to talk to SAP or Jira or someone, then you must verify these connectors and to do it. Or, for example, if you are very interested, instead of using REST APIs, you can build your own MCP servers if that MCP server isn't available. Also, have some thoughts, at least in Europe, we are very GDPR and DPIA controlled. And what we actually do there is thinking, where is my data processed? Do you want your data processed, for example, in the US, and instead of having it processed locally and so on? I mentioned license to build. Building and using is the people environment enablement. Then the solution infrastructure like data loss protection, security operation, support, monitoring, ALM, and further on. A pro tip is always create a solution when you have started to develop an agent. That must be one of the first things that we should do. And Knut, are you ready to do some show before we jump further into more slides of governance? I think people needs to hear your voice as well.
Yeah, let's jump into the demo basically. So let me just take over the screen.
Yeah.
So I think this is the right screen. So you can see my Copilot Studio, I hope now.
Yeah.
Great. So
Yeah,
as
we
Kai
can see.
has, yeah, thank you. So as Kai has talked about, the importance of environments, basically. So here we are in now Copilot Studio, and we can go and click up right corner where you will see the environments. And here in my place, I don't have too many because I haven't been kind of like too good in having a lot of different environments before. Usually I did everything in the default one, which I now just renamed into Team KRM Production. Before it was called just whatever my tenant was called when I created created it. I think that's where everyone is doing when they're starting to build stuff in Copilot, basically because they don't know any better. But as Kai has talked about, we need to have a dev environment. I also will use the Contoso sandbox now to kind of show you how we can take the solution that I have created here and put it into my production environment, which in this case is Contoso sandbox. But to do that, first of all, we need to go and take a look at solutions. And maybe also you don't have packaged your agents into solutions because they don't get packaged by default. So that's also something you need to be aware of. And of course, Kai, just jump in if you feel that I forget to mention something. So here you see I have created a bartender solution because what we have here is actually a couple of agents that is acting as a bartender or a sommelier. So they are basically giving me advices on what I should drink this evening or this morning or this afternoon, whatever is your preference. So one is basically checking for drinks. The other one is going and checking different wines and can do wine pairing together with whatever food that you want to have. And of course, what we need to do then is I want to basically take, as you can see, I've already pre-done this. I just exported my solution, but we can do that one more time here as well. So if I just go into my bartender solution here, you can see that this one is including the two agents that I'm having, and also everything that is in those agents. So the different topics and all the things that I have built within my agents. So now I can just click export. Then of course you can publish changes, of course, before to get them to go with you. But for now, I don't have any changes. So I will basically just go ahead and click export. And since I now will put this into production or into like another testing environment or whatever, maybe we don't want to allow to make all changes in this environment, then we need to select the managed one. Because if you do unmanaged, then the user can run and do everything just as we can do in my dev environment. And you see, it already, since I did this just earlier today, just to check that everything works, it already bumps up the version with one, basically here, as we can see. So it also takes care of that. We'll just click export. And this, of course, will take like a few seconds for this one to be built and packaged. When it's ready, it will come up possibility to download this file here. And then the only thing we need to do is actually import it into our other environment. But since I have done that already, I will just basically go and jump over here. You see now I'm in the Contoso environment. We can then go into solutions. And here I also already pre-imported in case we have some demo ghosts or something that will make things not work. So I will just show it to you how you could as well do the same. But you see here on the top that the bartender solution was imported successfully. But if you should have done this yourself, it's super easy. You will just go here, click import solution, and then it will show. And as you can see now, the default selection here is to show unmanaged. Here we don't see my bartender because as you might paid attention to earlier, I selected it should be managed. So it will be here under the managed option. So here we see that I have my bartender solution. I can go in and I will see that, oh, it also has my bartender, it has a sommelier, and it has my APIs that it is using basically to do its work. So everything is here. That is great. So if I now want to go ahead and do some testing or run this one, I will just jump into it. And now we can see that, of course, since this is managed, there are things that we are not allowed to do here, basically. So for instance, we see that the edit box here is grayed out. Sadly, the instruction one is not grayed out. I think that should have also been grayed out, so be attentive to that. But if you go and look at knowledge, for instance, up here, you will see that, oh, okay, by the way, the agent is part of a managed solution. You can add new but you're not allowed to modify the existing ones if you had one. We can go to tools, and you see exactly the same here. So this is a way where you can actually do controlled testing, controlled publishing to make sure that people are not making changes into your agents, basically. And of course, if I want to test it now, we can just go ahead and say that I want a drink. And now it will jump into my topics and into my tools here, and it will go ahead and search for what I want. And the cool thing is this one is also saving my spirits and these kind of things if I want to do it. But I can say that, okay, I like gin, I want it balanced or medium, and I want it balanced like this. And now it will go ahead and figure out like what drinks it should create based on my preferences, calling the APIs and everything that we are using for this agent, basically. And yeah, that was a really short demo of what you can do with different environments and also the importance of it, because as you can see, there are the testers or whoever you include here, they are not able to make all those changes. I would love that it would be even less capabilities here, but of course, this is something that is work in progress from Microsoft as well. So back to you, Kai.
Yeah, Knut, there is a question that has arrived in the chat before we go further on.
Great.
Yeah. How does tenant-to-tenant export import work? I think we showed it quite in a way there, but
Yeah.
how do we handle connection changes? For example,
Yeah,
Knut, in your agent, you have a connection to the SharePoint environment and the SharePoint
yeah,
list and further on. And these, when you export an agent, you actually and import it to another environment, you actually bring the credentials with you.
yeah. So for instance, I can also say here I want the wine because in this case I haven't connected it yet. So I think it will now show me in here an error message basically, because now it jumps to my other agent. And of course, you need to connect also the connectors. But this is also like where, in my honest opinion, the best way to work with agent, I think you also touched a little bit on that before, Kai, is that the agent also need to have an account connected to itself. So that right now I'm using my connections. So you can see here I get edit connections and I get open conversations. So we kind of we have all these possibilities in here to kind of look into it and kind of work on it. But the problem is right now this one is connected with my connections. But of course, when you export and import, you need to reconnect it with connections, basically. So then, of course, you can connect it to others, or you can use the ones that is already there in place, basically. But the best practice is to have an account that has basically, let's say that an agent is like a colleague. So when you are creating a new agent, it is kind of like hiring a new colleague. And by this, you need to create the account in Entra, basically, attach the required licenses and give it the permission scope that you want to have for that agent. Because again, you don't want the agent to have too much permissions, and that's also something we need to keep in mind. And then when we have done the export and import, then you just need to connect with the proper connection with that account, basically.
Great. And I'll take over the screen again, Knut,
Yes.
so that we can talk a little bit more about the boring stuff on the governance. So when an agent, you want to take your agent to the production, you have to have ownership and responsibility. Clear definition of who owns the agent, who are the agent owner. And of course, routines, what happen if the agent starts to hallucinate and so on, if it starts to give wrong answers, how is that going to be managed, and how you're actually going to fix it. you must do some risk assessments of the agent, just not put it out there. Look at the risks, and of course, lack of governance will create risk, especially if you are handling sensitive data. And sensitive data can be, for example, social security number and so on. So, versioning, as you saw, Knut, demoed, when you are exporting an agent, the version number is extended with a 0.01 so that you will have these versions. Document what is the difference between 1.001 versus 1.002. What are the changes you have done? So then you have the control of all the change management and documentation and so on. It's kind of straightforward to do these things, but have it in there. And of course, sometimes you see that an agent works in dev environments. I've seen it daily before, and also when I sit out there with my clients working. And then, of course, you put it into production, and it doesn't work. Something happened on the way. There can be different type of access regarding the dev environment and the production environment. Always test it. Test it also in production before you inform the user that the agent has been published. So that if you see something that shouldn't be there, then you actually can go back to your dev environment and try to reproduce these errors, and then of course publish it out again and do more testing. The most important thing when you are developing agents and agents that you're going to take over to production is definitely testing. And we are starting to come to another boring stuff, monitoring. You need to actually follow up the monitoring for the agent. Is the agent running? How is it running? And of course, we can use the Agent 365 dashboard to monitor agent. Is all the agent, for example, having an owner and so on? If not, you can from the Agent 365 dashboard. I can show that quite quick here. Give me a few seconds. This is, for example, the overview of Agent 365 in the admin center. You have, as you can see here, I have 429 agents in my tenant. This is showing the last updates for the last 30 days. You probably can do some Power BI reports that maybe can get all the data or whatever. And you can also see agent without owners. And here we have a couple of agents that are where the owner has left the company, for example. Quite interesting, which means that they don't have any owner anymore. These are old agents, but you could have different other agents here. And you can also see it trending. In my organization, we have created 255 agents, for example. And this also gives you different things. And as you can see here, I also have co-work. You can also, from what I have read but haven't tested, you can also monitor agent from different, not just Microsoft based, but you can also monitor in, for example, Gemini, AWS, and so on. So you can have the total control You can also have shadow AI, which means it's a frontier, and you can start detecting how many is actually using OpenClaw and are you allowing OpenClaws and further on. So lots of good stuff in here. Most of this stuff will come with the E7 license. So if you have that one, you will get all this stuff. If you are on E5, you can buy this part as an add-on. It costs $15 per month per user, these add-ons. So if you are on E5, you will actually save money by buying the E7 license, even though it's $99 per month per user for it, instead of buying this add-on to the E5. Then back to the slide. Dashboard for reporting. Simple dashboard show, for example, you can monitor the agent, you can go into the agent, you can follow the agent, the activity of the flows and so on. And also ask the user to give feedback for, is there something that needs to be changed, that we can process and improve the performance of the agent over time. And a little bit thinking, I think I will go online with this agent and make it into production. But if you don't have clear ownership, if you don't understand and know what shall I do if something goes wrong, I have also said that don't go live with the agent on Friday afternoon, for example. That's a good thing. If the agent is fully autonomous, for example, don't let it be there working for itself. Be there when you think of launching it, and of course follow what's actually going to happen. If the agent, for example, are sending email, answering email, sorting email, don't launch that on a Friday. Wait till to Monday, and when you have people that can also help you to see that everything works quite good. And you must also monitor and log certain things. And then when you have all these routines and so on ready for you, then you can do the launch. Some bonuses, classic Copilot Studio errors. A tip, as I mentioned, start with the solution. Have the solution. For example, and here is also a small tip. If you, for example, create a flow in PowerAutomate, and this is built inside the same environment, and it doesn't show up, add it manually to the solution so that you will have it there. That's very nice things to do. Start small, start with the agent that you actually have short return of investment, and also don't start with the king size large agents. Build one-on-one function, get control of the function. That gives you a lot of help. Don't be the only tester. As I mentioned, avoid launching on Friday afternoon. That can schedule different kind of problems and so on. One of the things that I have got tons of questions about is, for example, what is the return of investment for an agent? For example, if you build an agent that's going to help you, for example, write context to documents that you are sending your client, for example, and that context is based on other documents that you have. For example, this is how this type of sentence should be written. You have that in a Word document that is attached as a knowledge for this agent. Well, the return on investment there, yeah, you might save some time. You might save 10, 15, 20 minutes per paper that you are creating. And well, that's not so much, but where I work in the financial industry, mostly for my client, and what they think and what they see is that if you use an agent, and one of the things that they think is return of investment for an agent is that the thing that the agent produce is quite the same every time. So when they are putting the answers from the agent regarding writing texts, they will have and see the same way to write and these paper, because it's quite consist on the on this, and since it's using three different documents to build this kind of text. And of course, one other thing is that if you, for example, have sent a letter to an customer with some, for example, call it investment plans, just to take an example, that contains some certain texts. A little bit fast forward. And what we see then is this client and you have had discussions and so on, and suddenly the client figure out that he's going to sue the bank because the bank hasn't done what the contract say. But because maybe something was unclear, defined, with agent helping you writing these texts, you can tweak and tune so the text will be much more precise, for example. And then one of the things that they're saying is that is one of the things that is the return of investment. So with that, thank you all. I see we have a few minutes left, so there probably is some questions. And please just give us a bit of feedback if you want. You can also contact Knut and I on LinkedIn, on Twitter, and so on.
Yeah.
So thank
Can
you.
you share
Thank you,
can you share the feedback link again? Because I think people did not got
Yeah,
it.
sure.
Yeah.
Went a little.
Quick
And Kai,
time.
you were very kind to say many a times that governance is a boring stuff, but I can tell
Yeah,
you with this all the world of regulations coming around the whole thing, I think
yeah,
governance is what you really need it. It's an it's more of a need of an hour rather than just a process that needs to be followed.
yeah,
And I think very well said in terms of non-tested agents, bias agents going into production, making more life more difficult than helpful. So
yeah.
I think it's well conducted scenario across the things. So Kai and thanks for a lot for having you guys taking out the time, helping the community around to make it a successful event around here. Thanks a lot.
Thanks for having us. It was a
No
pleasure.
worries. Pleasure is all ours.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. I'll stop the recording. Can you take over?
Yes, Prince.
Yeah. I'll stop the recording. Okay, Bhavan.